Mr. Richardson, you admitted a mistake. I'm going to take one right now. So we're going back to item number 16, which is public participation for our regular meeting. And I would tell you that we have one person that has signed up. I had two different stacks here tonight, but we'll now have our public participation. And I will remind the person that's going to speak that you are required to adhere to the board policy, BEDH, public participation at meetings. We welcome and encourage public participation, and we ask that you adhere to the procedures and the decorum provided in that policy. Your comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Dr. Harris will give you time as it comes up. And questions that you ask during public participation and placed in writing may receive a written response in a timely manner. So with that, our one participant tonight is Ms. Kim Murphy. Ms. Murphy.
Good evening again. For some reason, the link for the board packet on your website is not working, and it shows that the page is unknown. There's some very important information that you're going to be voting on tonight, such as proposed policy changes that cannot be viewed by the public.
Ms. Murphy, would you pull that microphone up? We're having a little trouble hearing you, but up towards your mouth would be good. Or just turn up the end. There you go.
Thank you.
It won't cost you any time.
First, in regard to the proposed policy changes to the public participation policy, two important provisions were removed from the policy: the requirement of the district to respond in writing to a citizen's public participation question, and the provision regarding the district to post on their website those responses. The various amendments do all kinds of things, but the transparency portion of the original policy has been removed. I ask that you consider reinstating it. To me, it seems like it's an effort to hide from the public the work that you were doing. In addition, proposed amendments referring to the Freedom of Information Act policy do not make sense. The FOIA policy only addresses the receipt of documents and does not in any way address responses to questions. If changes are to be made to the public participation policy that involve the FOIA policy, please defer the vote on the policy changes tonight until the FOIA policy is amended to reflect the responses to questions, reflect responses to questions in the FOIA policy and how you would handle those responses to those questions. And second, I'd like to ask that you consider developing a board attendance policy that is intended to encourage regular attendance at board meetings and to provide procedures to deal with any failures in such attendance, such as sanctions or removal. In addition, a board member's pay should be docked. If you are too busy, whether it's family vacations, health issues, or other business matters, the regular absence of board meetings should be considered a breach of your obligations. I'm not even a board member, and I've attended more meetings than Mr. White. I think it's important that our representatives that are elected do attend the board meetings, and you consider developing a policy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Murphy, I'll remind you for the future, Mr. White's not here. Obviously, I stated that earlier, but part of our policy asks you not to attack, and that's sort of an attack on a board member. You come with an item but not facts. So thank you, and I'd ask you to remember that in the future. That concludes our public participation, and it takes us to item now, number 17, and that's for actions necessary or appropriate on matters discussed in executive session. And we have one item, item 3A, and do I have a motion? Ms.